What's up, Colt? Everything's been getting shaken up because the tariffs is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I don't know. Seems like everybody gets scared, but then everything goes back to normal.
Back to normal, yeah.
Things go on, things happen. But I've been looking online, like, people arguing and stuff, men and women. And it seems like, society is degrading. And this caused me to go down the rabbit hole of looking up philosophers and what they spoke about. One of them was Nietzsche. Have you heard of Nietzsche?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I even saying that right?
Yeah, I think it is Nietzsche, because it's Niche.
TZ, whatever
Or
the hell.
something
He
like
has a
that.
Z in there somewhere. But this fight has been going on for a long time. It seems like the family system's declining because of it. Because of the powers that are running the matrix. So anyways, he talks about how so this is how it started. I was on X. I'll just, sometimes I type in questions to Grok to see what it says, and it has some pretty good answers. So I typed in, because I read another comment. They were talking about morality.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, they were talking about a subject, and it reminded me of morality.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking, where does morality come from? And then so I typed in on Grok. I was like, name philosophers that spoke about morality and what morality was. And then the name Nietzsche came up. And he was speaking, the thing the AI said about him was that he brought up the point, or he said something that was very famous. He says God is dead. I don't know if you've heard of that term.
No.
But he didn't really mean it how it sounds.
Like in the literal sense?
Yeah, exactly. What he was saying was that, dude, ahead of time, I think in the 1950s, he saw that society was becoming it was degrading. And so he said that people, they're just going towards immorality.
Mm-hmm.
Morality is collapsing, and it's leading to society rotting pretty much.
Okay.
And so he speaks about how we as a society, we have to decide to live by like a righteous set of rules. And I don't know if I'm quoting him right, but he's saying that the more you try to get away from like traditional values, the worse society becomes. And it's our job as citizens or whatever, as members of a society, to keep those rules going. Because what happens is when people, they stray away from the old traditional values, society falls apart, and then morality and immorality get mixed up.
Oh, yeah, like people's morals and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, like, during those times, people went to church and all that stuff, right? So if you think about it, religion holds you to a specific standard,
Mm-hmm.
right? And people that are ruled by religion, they know they're supposed to do right and not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But what he was saying was, when people stray away from the message, like these old groups had, people, they fall into chaos. Because then when you don't have anything to hold you to a standard, you stray away from doing right.
Yeah.
Because now, like, you see a lot of people, they say religion is cancer and all that, and then so they decided to do things where before, if you did that certain thing, you would get shunned away from the community, you would get exiled, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men, they start paying attention to these desires that they're not supposed to be going towards.
Mm-hmm.
They become docile.
Mm-hmm.
And when a man becomes docile, society doesn't progress, and the people that are like the elite, they like that, because then people aren't trying to break out of the system.
No, they're still stuck in their confined. They're confined to that specific area or structure.
Yeah.
Which is either the 9 to 5 or they won't question anything outside of their box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're too busy chasing these desires.
Correct,
that they have no business, that they should be. And like, that's why it's being pushed out. It all made sense. That's why it's being pushed out so much, because they're like, when you keep men docile, nothing's going to happen. Because back in the day, what happened when people got pissed, right? There'd be like uprisings, revolutions, and shit. Now it's all chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're turning them into women, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're making men like really docile, like sheep, lazy, just
Lazy,
sit there.
just sit there, yeah.
Because they don't have that energy or that essence.
But that all comes back to morals, because
Yeah, morality.
there's no more. There's society doesn't have any morals anymore. But you have men at their peak, like they're running society like it is, and then there's also gender specific roles.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on.
Women do women things, and men do men things.
Exactly.
But here in the States, because the fundamentals of not having any morals, all the rest of the stuff gets thrown out the window, and the roles reverse.
Yeah.
Men are becoming more like women, and women are becoming more like men.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna touch down on. So that's what sparked this thing, because somebody brought up that comment on X, and so I was thinking that at that point, what's moral and what's immoral? Because in a sense, that type of stuff, it makes people digress instead of progressing.
It's almost like it's almost like a drug or an alcohol, because like if a man, all he does is consume, if he strives to only work to consume alcohol or buy drugs, he's still being suppressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is just another version of it, because all you're doing is buying into this I don't even know what you call it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just buying into that system.
Exactly.
So.
And it's done from the beginning. It pushes it out onto you.
Mm-hmm.
And so men are becoming docile. And then, as you know, they're like the elites at the top, they rely on that, because that's what helps them keep their fake system going.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was pretty cool to read about it, to think about what morals are, where morals come from, what's considered immoral. So I just recommend everybody should think about what's moral and what's not moral, and how do we determine it. I guess some people were saying, or one of the points of the Nietzsche was that morality comes from people's obligation to the society, something that'll be virtuous, something that will not cause man to fall. I'm gonna have to look up those points again, but they're not coming up to my mind right now.
I heard this one, master versus slave.
Yeah, I was reading about that one too.
That's kind of like what we were talking about, how the people who are at the top are considered the masters, and everybody else in society are considered slaves. Yeah. Critique of traditional morals. Nietzsche rejects conventional morality, especially Christian morality, as a hypocritical and anti-life.
Yeah, so he brought that up too. He brought up how religion, the people, they're like hypocrites at the top.
Mm-hmm.
They just want everybody to be under their control, pretty much.
Yeah. So the thing about religion is that if, like, you have your, like, I think it kind of the way I see religion is almost like pyramid. Like, you have the foundation or the fundamentals of religion right at the top, whatever it is, if it's Christianity, Judaism, whatever, all Buddhism, whatever, all of it. But then your second level down after that is the people who who preach about it, because those people that preach about it, they will all alter they'll alter the actual interpretation
to their
benefit, and then that's where you have all the divide, because it comes from the second level. So if all those priests or high priests or those, whatever certain religions call them, they only preach their own agenda, and then it creates divide within their own religion, and that's where you kind of get a whole bunch of sheep following different people,
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that the people at the top that are preaching about this stuff for certain religions are also bought by the same mechanisms that are running the country too,
Yep.
Because a lot of these religions have now become quote unquote organizations. So when they become organizations, they're essentially a business, and anybody knows that a business is there to make money. Mm-hmm. So the establishment of a religion now is completely changed to where it used to be years and years and years and years ago, because everybody has their own version of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which is not okay, honestly. I think that's a sin of itself, because
It is a sin because instead of preaching the word, you're just twisting it to where you benefit off of it.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't think that's right, because you're kind of just leading people into a false lie or a false narrative, so that's not cool at all.
Or people will take words and they'll like interpret it how they want it instead of looking at it objectively.
Yeah.
So what was one of the ones, the bottom? Okay, so he's talking about how, yeah. So the decline of old moral systems, it causes people to fall into nihilism, because at the end of the day, people are gonna be like, once they get away from the old moral principles, they'll say nothing matters, so do whatever you want, and that causes a big rift problem in society, which we're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
Now,
that's true.
Now people are blurring up the lines of morality and immorality. For example, let's say somebody comes to steal from you, and you're trying to defend your property, but now people are saying you can't defend your property because it's not right.
It's not right
to harm someone because of your property. But if you let that keep on happening, what does that lead to? It leads to a destruction of society. Because now at this point, you're just incentivizing people to steal from you. Because when you let people steal from you, all that's not going to stop them, and everything you worked hard for is being taken away from you. Yeah, so because I think there was a guy, there was an intruder tried stealing his shit, and then he blasted the guy.
Oh, and he got jail time. The guy that blasted the intruder, he got arrested and he got put in jail.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of backwards. And then there's another case, Cain Velasquez. His, I think was it his daughter, or was it one of his family members? She got let's just say somebody did something bad to her, and then I don't know if he beat up the guy or did something to the guy, and now he's facing jail sentence.
Yeah.
So like, when you let people think they can get away with doing things like that, society just declines. For example, one thing that like people don't play around with in that follow like by the book in Muslim countries, if you get caught stealing, they'll chop your hand.
They'll chop your hand off, yeah.
Right? So you're not murking the person, but you're still not letting them get away with it.
Yeah.
So then things start getting put into perspective of which way should we handle things,
So the one thing I noticed is that talking to different kind of people, because I have brought this up in conversations before about how Muslim countries do that. A lot of Westerners, they frown upon their societies doing that.
Right.
Or they don't think it's right, or they don't think it's justified. Locking somebody up isn't gonna do anything to nobody, dude. It's like putting a kid in timeout. If they think that if a kid goes into timeout and says, "Oh, if this is all I'm getting, I'm gonna keep doing this."
Yeah, you have to pay for the consequences. I mean, if somebody's like dead broke or something like that, and they're taking food, okay, I get it, right? Like, they can't afford it and they're hungry, they need to like survive. But in most of these situations, most of these people, they're taken away from people's that have been working hard for the material possessions they have. But then people say, oh, it's only material possession, but how far are you going to let it slide? See,
exactly.
It's easy for people to say that behind the screen when it's not happening to them. But if it happens to them, how are they going to deal with it? Not everybody, many people like to act righteous. That's not even a form of righteous, because you're leading society towards a decline. But people that try to act like they're forgiven and all that, they're like one of the worst people because deep inside, they don't think like that.
No, they don't. It's just a facade.
Yeah, if they were really living like that, they would give away all their belongings.
All their belongings, yeah.
And they would let people stay in their home while they sit outside, sleep on the road.
Yep, I agree.
And
100%.
yeah, so it really put things. It made me think about shit like that today. I was like, so how would we deal with people doing that, or what's the right way to do it? But I know one thing, you have to stop it right there, like whatever they're trying to do, if they're trying to take your shit, because at what point are you gonna draw the line? Because at the end of the day, you gotta think about the well-being of yourself. Because if you let people that don't have any morality, right? If you let them continue on the pace that they're going, society becomes full of people like that.
Yeah.
And then you don't have good hardworking people actually
trying to achieve something.
Yeah, you don't have more of them. You have more of the immoral people.
Immoral people, yeah.
Yeah, so you're like pretty much saying go ahead, because now I see a lot of videos of like some of these kids on bikes, right? They get together, they get on bikes, and they go cause trouble somewhere. And then when somebody says something to them, they'll try to jump the guy or something like that. And then people in the comments, many people are going to say no, but then there's many people say let the kids do what they want, they're just kids.
Yeah, but to a certain degree,
you can't let them.
You can't let them, no.
There has to be a consequence.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we all face consequences whether we like it or not.
Every single day.
If you stop paying taxes, what's going to happen?
The government will come after you, yeah.
Is that... People don't pay attention to that. Is it right for me to go to jail for not paying tax, which isn't being spent the right way? But then you're going to have people saying, yeah, but it's the law, right? People justify things through law, but law isn't always morally correct.
I was always told by other people that actions always have consequences, whether it's a good consequence or it's a bad one. But it's always going to be like that. Like, if you're going to play a game, expect to always win a good prize or a stupid prize.
Yeah.
It's never going to be good, and sometimes it could be bad. So
back then, especially, like, bro, back when they were like going to wars and shit, like, if let's say you were in the town square, you got caught beefing with someone, and then you would handle your shit right there. You'd live by the sword or die by the sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, things were more balanced. But now it's like their society is full of people that are trying to let other people degrade it without any consequence. So I don't know. Are we going to have to go back to those times? But it seems like things, when they go in a full circle. And then that brings up the question, what's moral and what's not moral? That might be for another video.
Yeah. And I think that question itself is up to everybody individually. Like, it's hard to put a right answer on it because everybody has their own version of what's moral and what's not moral. And if you put it on a scale, like, somebody might be over here and then the other people will be over here, or there's a lot of people in the middle. So it's a little different, And
that's why religion exists, or has existed from the beginning of time, because they had a book of rules. Like when they speak about Moses getting the commandments from God, when he came down, they started worshiping the golden calf again. And then I used to think about that story a lot. I was like, what was the significance of the golden calf? But then recently when we talked about it, the significance was that golden calf, they would sacrifice children to that golden calf. And they went against the word, and then they had to face the repercussions.
I think we talked about the golden calf last year.
We did.
But personally, I think part of morality should be having the right consequences and the right punishment for each crime.
Yeah.
Or each thing committed. Whether it's not a crime, for each thing committed, there should be some sort of a right punishment. Whether it's a corporal punishment, or even like they used to have back in the day, they used to have public shamings,
Yeah, so now, I don't know, it's weird. Hella weird shit happening. And then you got people at the top, they're talking about how they're trying to make fake food for people to survive on, stuff like that.
I've grown food, yeah.
Yeah, somebody, I was watching this post, and they're talking about how they're trying to make Ozempic type foods, like
Yeah.
appetite suppressants, so people
Yeah.
don't eat as much.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, bro, that's hella crazy. Instead of us eating healthy organic
yeah.
stuff, we're going the opposite direction where we're just eating fake stuff.
And it's only in the U.S. is what it is. Because if you go to other countries, a lot of the things that are in our foods are banned.
I've been noticing that a
Not,
lot.
like brainless or just on autopilot, you know?
Yep. Yeah, and it's crazy because back then, like, people spent a lot of their time thinking about what's going on walks and, like, self-reflecting, like these philosophers did. And some of them were rulers. Like, wasn't Marcus Aurelius a ruler? And he was one of the top philosophers. Like, you had people like that, but now you got people, like, at the top, they're just pushing out their own agendas to, like, suppress the rest of the population and, like, castrate the men. Poison the water supply, the food. They're doing everything in their power to suppress the man.
Yeah. Can you imagine what society would... If society in the past, like, say, for example, society from the 50s and the 60s, if they were able to see in the future and they could see, they can see our present time, their reaction to it...
I don't think they'd be surprised because Nietzsche and people like that did it. I mean, the average person would be surprised. They'd probably have a heart attack.
No, I mean, but because I feel like back then, there was actually, like, family structures.
Oh, yeah. The common person from that time, if they saw into the future, they would have a heart attack.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yo, I'm ending my generational line right now.
Yeah, like...
Bro, think about it, bro. Like, oh, shit, this brings up an interesting topic. Like, so, like, say, like, there's a person, right? Like, one of those people doing, like, stupid shit out on the streets, right?
Yeah.
And let's say they're somewhere in their lineage, somebody found out, and they had the choice to end their generation or not. You think they would do it?
I think they would do it, bro. I think they would. Because, dude, I mean, I'm just sometimes I think about that. I'm like, how would our ancestors, well, not really our ancestors, but society's ancestors, if they could see how our society is today, what would they think of it? Like, they're probably rolling in their graves. They're probably like, I would murk every single one of my bloodlines off to make sure they don't even get like that.
They're like, I'm just saying, like, they probably wouldn't even reproduce.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, or like somewhere along the line, they'd pass on the message. They'd be like, after this person, after this grandson, stop reproduction.
Yeah, stop, like...
It reminds me of, what's that show? The Boys.
Yeah, The Boys, there you go.
The Boys,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though that show's weird, but there was a badass scene, like, it was hella badass. So, Homelander, he has a father, right? And the father, he was one of the superheroes, or like the heroes from back in the day. I think during like the Vietnam War or whatever, right? So like he gets trapped by like the Russians, and he gets put in this sleep tank, whatever you want to call it. And then later on, Homelander's his son. I'm not gonna say how he found out, whatever, because I don't want to spoil too much. So later on, Homelander goes to him. He's like, "You're my father. We can rule the world together, right?" And then he looks at him. He's like, "I wish I could have been there for you, but you're no son of mine." And then he starts like beating his ass, bro. He tries to like off him. And that's what it reminds me of. I was like, I think shit like that would be happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless you look like further down the line, you're like, okay, our generation the generations after might have to get a little worse before they get better, before like somebody else comes from the lineage and they're just badass, bro. But I think like a lot of people from that time, they'll just end the bloodline.
I can see that.
Yeah. And that's another thing I've been thinking about as well. So there's been a common trend on social media where kids that are making money, or like 20-year-olds or like 30-year-olds, they're making money, but they're like, I want to make money where I retire my bloodline, right? At a certain point, if you found out one of the people from your bloodline was a piece of shit, would you really want to get that rich and pass it down?
People probably not. I wouldn't.
Yeah, because you've been hearing about that, retire my bloodline.
Yeah.
Do you really think you'd want to pass down that money? Because like, there'd be some piece of shit that would come along and they'll like squander it all off, or like do people dirty, do someone dirty.
Yeah, I agree.
Because money does some crazy shit to people. And I've seen it happen firsthand. But think about that, guys. People that want to retire their bloodlines, you really want like somebody wrong in your family lineage get their hands on it.
Their hands on it, yeah.
Like the best way to do it is to have someone prove it, like in your family. If
Mm-hmm.
they don't prove themselves, they don't live like, let's say, a morally righteous life. You can just donate the money to people. There's so many people that can do much more with your money, or
Yeah.
when you pass away, like, that can benefit. And plus, it'll be a good deed in your book. So before you retire your bloodline, think about that shit, because you don't know, they're gonna go down the line, be chilling on a yacht, throwing money off a boat, throwing money at the club.
Yeah, being stupid.
Bro, I wouldn't pass my money if I saw the future.
Dude.
I see someone at one of my like bloodline, someone from my blood lineage throwing money at a club. I'd be like, nah, fam.
No, because
you ain't getting that shit.
No, because they because you work so hard for it, for someone just to
Yeah,
be gone.
waste it, like be ungrateful, bro. I just give it to somebody that needs it. But there's been a hella funny trends going on. There's also been a trend, that ice water.
Oh yeah.
That shit was funny. That guy's a marketing genius. But what were your thoughts when you first saw the video?
I seen it and I'm just like, oh, here we go, another fucking trend. Like, I'm actually genuinely, I'm interested in trying that water just to drink it, but not to do that.
Oh, the
bro.
Saratoga water? You
Yeah.
want to drink it?
I kind of want to just try.
You don't want to dip
drink
your
it.
face in the ice water?
Nah, not really. I can do that in the shower. Stay in the cold shower.
The
I'm cool.
The first time I saw it, I saw the guy, he dipped his face in the ice water, right? And then he goes, does whatever he needs to.
So I've seen people do like the ice water.
I did too.
But that's the first time I've seen somebody do that, like with
Expensive
sparkling
water?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even only once. He did it like two, three times.
3 times. There's another guy who does it he does an ice bath
Yeah.
with Saratoga water.
Oh, shit.
So he spends hella money on water just to put in the ice bath.
See, that's money wasting right there.
Yeah. At that point, you might as well just go to like a hot springs. Most hot springs have minerals anyways in their water,
100, bro. And then that shit was funny. Like, whoever's the editor was needs a raise for that shit, because he made like small mistakes on purpose
Yeah.
to where people caught on, and that blew up the video.
Yeah.
What do you think the funniest part of that video was?
The banana thing.
That shit was crazy,
I
bro.
thought the banana thing. I was like, yo, what is this, bro?
I went online and I was like, yo, what the hell does the banana do? And then people were saying it fucking puts some kind of vitamins. I don't know. But the funniest part to me was when he's on the computer. He's like, next time we need to get the 10,000.
10,000,
That
yeah.
shit had me dead as
I can
fuck.
just imagine people doing this shit at home.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Bro, it's been a common trend lately. A lot of like people, they've been doing these like crazy ass skincare routines.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be taking hella long. It's like on the same vibe as American Psycho, where they just keep like doing funny ass shit.
Yeah.
One fool, I think his name's FedEx Fearless. People like asking for advice and shit.
Mm-hmm.
How to look smacks. That's just hella funny because he put on this thing and it made him look like the Blue Ninja Turtle.
Like the blue, yeah.
That shit was hella funny, bro. But do you have a skincare routine?
Just wash my face, moisturizer, that's it.
Nah, fool, you need to do this shit where people, they'll like do like 7-step processes.
Nah, I'm good, bro. I don't have that time. I don't have that kind of time.
There's a hella funny video, there was hella funny comments. They're like, yo, bro wasted all that time to do nothing. You
Yeah,
could have
no.
just slept in.
For real. No, I just use moisturizer, bro. Literally, that's it. Wash my face and use moisturizer.
Yeah.
I don't drink. That's another thing that's good for. A lot of people, bro, that I feel like they waste their time and they waste their money with all these moisturizers
Mhm.
and all this. I mean, with their skincare routine, but they don't know that they forget that the stuff that you put in your body and the stuff you drink also affects your skin.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that, bro. They'll go out, they'll spend hundreds of dollars on skincare stuff to put on at night and all these masks and all this shit. But damn well they know that right before they did all that, they're probably popping bottles at the club or smoking or whatever,
Mhm.
But they don't understand that is the kind of stuff that gets you to get wrinkles, that makes you look older, bro.
Oh, that's a fact, bro.
Because
You got a point.
if people actually do that research, they look it up. Alcohol will make you look a lot older. People who smoke, makes the cigarettes, the nicotine, vapes or whatever, all that shit makes you look older. It just comes back just a basic diet, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I don't drink. I don't drink because I don't want it. Like, for me, I don't want to look older, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'll not drink, you know. But aside from that, rather, you know, I don't have other reasons why I don't. But same thing with smoking, dude. Like, if you want to look younger, don't spend hundreds of dollars on freaking skincare. Just stop drinking and stop smoking.
Yeah.
And eat clean. Eat clean. Not saying you have to eat clean every day, but yeah, go out and indulge yourself with a cheeseburger or whatever it is. But if you're gonna do that every single day, that kind of stuff ages you.
There's this like bodybuilding coach I follow online, natural bodybuilding coach. Somebody asked him that question. They're like, "Do you have a morning routine or whatever, skincare routine?" He's like, "No, just eat your foods, natural foods."
Natural foods.
Because going back off the point you're talking about, he said the same thing. He said it's like your body's not getting the vitamins it needs.
Exactly.
So like all these topical applications you're using, all that stuff, that's just not gonna substitute for your nutrients that the body needs from natural sources.
And honestly, bro, like I could tell you from experience, because I get this shit all the time, bro. And I'm not just doing it just to toot my own horn or anything, bro. But I literally will have people who ask me like, like they'll ask me how old I am, and I just start playing this game with everybody now. I'll literally tell them, "Well, how old do you think I am?" And sometimes people will tell me like, "Oh, you're probably like 25, 24, 26." I don't get anything past 26. So as soon as I tell people how old I really am, they're like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm like, "Yeah, I know, for real, dude. I'm really like, that's my age. Like, I'm 32." Like, people are like, "There's no, nah, you can't." Like, it's because everybody tells me I look young. But it's because I don't do any of that other extra shit, bro. Yeah. I have homies that I hang out with every now and then that do indulge and stuff like that, and they look hell older than me, bro. Yeah. And at the end of the day, bro, all that other skincare routine and all that other shit, it doesn't come... You don't get as much benefit as you would if you didn't have all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to diet.
Not only that, like, how long are you going to keep up these 70-step skincare routine process up for, you know? And how much money you're going to spend. Like, you're going to get so busy when you have a family and stuff. Yeah. How are you going to be sitting there doing like 30-step skincare routine? Mm-hmm. I'm seeing dudes that are... There's one guy, he was trimming his beard in a what was he? Was he in a train? I think he was in a train, and he was over here doing his skincare routine. Or he was in a plane, and he was like cutting some of his hair in the plane, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was like,
bro.
Yo, come on, bro. Like, he was trimming his eyebrows and shit, and then it was crazy, bro. But the crazy thing is, like, these guys that are doing this and recording it, at least they're recording it because now they're getting paid to at least keep up with that lifestyle.
Keep up with the lifestyle.
Yeah, but whoever's watching that shit, don't think you can just sit there and do it unless you're hella balling.
Yeah. It's probably cheaper for you to not drink every weekend and smoke every weekend and still and get into better skin results than going out and buying $150 worth of skin care products.
Exactly, man.
You know? But that's just the way I think. And then if that doesn't work, then they move to the next thing. Go to the dermatologist or go get Botox to get rid of the wrinkles. Yeah. And then you're spending an absurd amount of money for that every week, you know?
And you got to ask yourself, what's the point of looking young forever? What's the purpose of that?
I don't know. I wish I could, but, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you want to live forever? No. I think most people that could choose to live forever, they wouldn't even choose that.
I wouldn't. At some point I wanted to, but not anymore, man.
Yeah.
There's no point.
That's another thing that trips me out. Like, once we go in the afterlife, how are we going to spend that time?
I don't know. In the gulag.
But we'll see. Tune in for the next episode.
Yep.
Well, guys, that's the end of this. All right, that's it for now. See you guys next time. Enjoy your night.
Peace.